We've traversed the tombs of Naxxramas. We've climbed every cliff on Black Rock. Now the world cries out for heroes. As a new evil rises, there will be danger. There will be doom. There will be ancient temples filled with relics, treasures, and traps. Who will answer the call?
Explorers lead, and we are in need of explorers. Adventure we seek, cross land and sea. Won't you come and join us?
Yes!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the StarLadder I-League tournament. We are on Redemption Week. We are about to see StrifeCro versus Kranich. I'm here with Noxious, and, well, we have some pretty good players coming up here. The most striking thing for me for these players is actually their lineups. Kranich is bringing Mage, Rogue, Druid, and StrifeCro is bringing Priest, Warlock, Druid. No Paladin. Now, we talked a bit about the ladder decks and their strengths and how Secret Paladin has been pretty dominant. But if you had to pick, like a second and third place, what would it be? Do you feel Druid's still up there? I mean, Druid just hasn't changed that much. It's probably why people just don't talk about it that much. But it's still
that's
there.
About it, right?
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's just so it hasn't changed. I want to say since beta. Like it's the same idea, the same deck. We don't even see ramp anymore, right? So it kind of got simplified and boiled down to one archetype. You do see aggro come up. I don't know how much of it we'll see though. It seems like it's being less and less played nowadays. It had a big moment in the spotlight, it feels, during the release of the League of Explorers, but as it kind of came to an end, nobody really revisits it. It seems like just playing straight up mid-range is overall better, and I've even seen some Raven idle in mid-range Druid, which gives a little bit more versatility to the deck, where sometimes against aggro you'll need an early minion, and that lets you sometimes pick what you need. I don't know if we'll see any of it today, but I'm surprised that we see Kranich bring Mage, whereas StrifeCro doesn't, right? It's like...
Okay, yeah, that's true, but I think StrifeCro just... yes, he's a very flexible player. Probably a lot of people have seen StrifeCro play already. He does participate in most tournaments. Kranich, not quite as many, and I'm glad we get another opportunity to see this great player here today. As far as Kranich, I have seen his adventures in Hearthstone a few times already, and I think he really likes the mid-range style of deck. But I'm curious to see if he can, kind of extend that pool of decks. I am hoping that we'll see a Miracle Rogue, but I kind of have this doubt at the back of my mind that probably the Oil Rogues these days are still more effective. But maybe not by much. Maybe
tough to say, really, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the miracle style is certainly the most interesting, the most fun to watch. But whenever I see ladder play, whenever I play ladder, it feels like I more often run into more standard rogue decks, just with Violet Teacher oil.
Yeah,
style.
just the oil stuff. Yeah, we don't even see we've seen a few lists try to incorporate a mix of both. It tends to be a little bit more difficult to pull off. Even oil is already difficult enough to play, right? And when you start playing not only oil but miracle on top of it, your win rates, your win conditions are so diverse that it's really hard to figure out which move you want to make even further. There might be a time where we'll see just the inclusion of Gadgetzan in a oil rogue with the double Tomb Pillager. That might just be enough to make the deck a bit more different, but we've already seen those variants in the past, right? And they didn't stick around that much.
Yeah. I think another factor here to consider is that I am pretty sure StrifeCro has just woken up. Now,
Oh, no surprise. I mean, that's just what he does every single time.
Yeah, right? I believe on the West Coast right now, it's just past 9 in the morning, and that those single-digit AMs are not really numbers that most gamers are familiar with.
Yeah, usually you skip right past them as you're sleeping and snoring just to wake up to play more games. I wonder though, StrifeCro, the priest that he's playing is obviously more of a control one based on the Entomb.
Yeah.
I'm not guessing we're going to see any type of dragon shenanigans. Against Druid, how does that deck fare? I feel like it should be okay just because Entomb lets you hard remove things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to.
Well, that is a
But
pretty
it's
good hand.
also, yeah, it's
1, 2,
correct,
3.
right?
Also,
Double Cabal. Okay.
I've noticed that some players, maybe mistakenly, I mean, I feel I do this sometimes as well. They like to keep part of the Soul Priest combo in their opener against matches where they know they have to clear the board once with it to actually win. And I don't know, is Druid one of those matches?
I feel like you can keep it when you're on the coin, just because you're getting
Get
that
those extra draws.
Right, exactly. You get the extra card, and then maybe you can find something else, like a powered shield off the top would give you one extra draw. You can coin out the Alchemy at some point. But yeah, that's true, right? Like, if you just keep it alone off the coin, you're more often than not going to lose because of it. It'll be stuck in your hand as just a dead card.
Well, StrifeCro's aggressive mulligan does pay out pretty big, even though the North Star clear gets answered. You know, whenever you have a 1-drop being answered by a coin Wrath, you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you're good to go. I mean, you see here the 3/2 can just trade away, and because of the powered shield or the Valence Chosen, it's going to be even better. So I have to wonder here, if you're StrifeCro, do you go for powered shield heal, or Valence Chosen force a keeper on? I mean, he can't even keep her next turn, so you're basically getting this guy to stick around.
I think I like the powered shield a little bit more because you still put the same amount of health on the minion. You don't need the spell damage. Because if you do power shield heal, that's +4, right? If you do Valence, that's also +4. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point, the only question is, like, what's your next turn going to be, right? Do you plan to curve differently if you get a 4 cost or a 3 cost? But does get the Death Lord, which Kranich, I don't believe, has any good answer to, and he's going to skip a turn 3 against Priest with a 3/4. This is like Dragon Priest all over again.
I think the last time I played Death Lord against the Druid, an Aviana came out of it.
What? What? Oh no.
So there are some very particular disasters that can occur against Druid. I don't imagine that'll happen here, but
right. I can hope.
Still,
I can always hope. Right?
There are some odd things, like, you know, we've seen. Actually, I don't know if we've seen it, but I wouldn't be blown away if there was like a Kel'Thuzad or a Ragnaros in any given Druid deck. So
I could see that. We've seen some lists try to play all the ramp and may sometimes get a bit greedy with the top of their curve. So that's definitely possible. And I mean, if Secret Paladin has pulled off the Rag return, then maybe Druid can, right? That's one of the things that some people might be thinking.
No, welcome to the exhibit. Museum curator time, and now everyone will be able to realize just how crazy this card is. You know, we did some analysis on it before it had to come out, and you know, other people in the community actually realized just how many ridiculous Death Rattle minions there are. Compared to the total pool. You know, the expected result is really outstanding here. Now,
in Freeze, you have what, one Dark Cultist, but then you have all the legendaries that just win the game on their own.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a Museum Curator here. It's not really worth it to heal the Death Lord, because if something is getting silenced, it's that Death Lord right now, and you don't have a great 6-drop. I guess if it gets silenced, you do have a great 6-drop, so maybe not. But there are quite a few good Death Rattle 6-drops. There's Sylvanas, there's
Belcher against the Druid. Oh, that's
also
ridiculous.
that piloted Sky Golem. I think piloted Sky Golem is actually ridiculous against Druid because they often have to just straight up waste the swipe on it.
Yeah, and it kills Druid of the Claw as well, so they really can't play it, as you said. I mean, the thing with Belcher is that it's the safest play against a combo, obviously. So it's going to usually get that combo to be slowed down. But when you're already ahead on board, like StrifeCro, I think the Sky Golem would have been better, but it's not like it was offered to him. It's just one of those things where, like, if you had the choice between Belcher and Sky Golem, I think the choice is a bit difficult sometimes.
All right, well, this is a pretty clear cut.
Yep.
Cabal. I mean, he's running Shrinkmeister, but he's already played one. There's no guarantee that you're running 2 Shrinkmeisters, so this might just be the best case scenario from this stage on in the game.
Yeah, no, I think Kranich at this point is realizing he's not going to get ahead on board by playing minions slowly, so he's going to have to just go all in with the biggest drops he can, hope that the boombots just do a ton of work. But even that's
This game looks pretty over right now.
Yeah, it looked over after the curve that the Druid missed on. Like, what I think Kranich didn't anticipate was the Shrinkmeister on 2 from StrifeCro. Because that really messed up his curve after he wrathed on the coin. Really big deal.
Well, there's two options here. StrifeCro seems to just go for the trades. I think the second option is actually just to play the other Death Lord and go face. So he's playing a bit more defensively with this line of play.
Yeah, does it play around anything specific? I mean, the thing is, the only way you lose is if you
Actually,
don't
if
play
he plays Dr.
cautiously.
Boom,
maybe?
you win the game.
Yeah, you win immediately with Holy
StrifeCro
Fire.
has exactly 16 right now. Oh, winner!
GG!
That's one of those moments where, you know, if people watch and are like, oh my god, he has no answer for Dr. Boom, or, you know, he has no answer if he gets flame striked. No, this is the answer right here. Game over.
Yeah, this is... Punching face is usually a pretty good way to kill people. I don't know. I feel like the fact that Priest can now put on the aggressive gear is really interesting. Like, you see here a deck that's not meant to be very aggressive or even tempo heavy, unlike Dragon Priest, and it still pulls off a good curve when it's built properly. So
yeah, but I think really the main winning point that StrifeCro had there is just the fact that he went first, so you have the mana advantage throughout the game. Kranich had 0 ramp and was forced to use the coin to answer a 1-drop. So, you know, you're just starting from behind as a druid, and StrifeCro just basically accumulated more and more of an advantage as the game rolled out.
yeah, so I mean, I guess his hand could have been a disaster, right? If he stuck with something like Entombs really early, get a Cabal really early, but instead he just got the perfect curve to counter Kranich. One of the things too, now means that Kranich will not really get necessarily an amazing matchup with his Druid. I think you're happy to go up against Priest most of the time, and your Rogue will not be able to queue up against that as well, because you're not going to be able to target that Priest. So now you have Rogue against the Warlock from StrifeCro and his remaining deck, which is the
Druid.
Druid, that's right, that he has to play still. So I feel like the Rogue from Kranich is not nearly as good as it could have been otherwise.
Yeah. We'll see, though.
Yeah.
We have to see what kind of Rogue this is exactly. Oh, it's a Vile Teacher Rogue. Okay, it's probably that kind. So it is the standard oil thing, most likely.
Whoa, handlock. All right. Haven't
Straight
seen
up
that guy in a
handlock.
bit.
Okay. Yeah, this deck has been very inconsistent in tournaments from what I've seen. It just seems like the old style handlock. Well, it has the Doomguard, right? So it's probably just Demon Handlock. But
Demon Handlock with Mountain Giants.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that seems pretty legit.
Yeah.
You run Void Callers and then you run Jiraxxus, Mal'Ganis, and one Doomguard. I think it's just very, very standard Demon Lock. I'm curious if he's introduced a few spin-off cards from League of Explorers. I mean, it being StrifeCro, he probably has. I'm just hoping that they're drawn and we get to realize what those are this game.
Curse of Rafam.
Yeah, but this type of deck has fallen a lot out of favor just because it's like a deck that's very consistently putting up that wall against aggro, but it was almost always on like the verge. Like, you know, you'd win the games and you'd just marginally stabilize. But I feel it was kind of around the time Secret Paladin popped up that it became a little bit too hard to actually stabilize. Like Secret Paladin was a very, very zooey, very fast deck. It could kill you very, very quickly. And a lot of other decks, I think, sped up around that time to try to compensate for it. So I think there's a lot of issues with this deck these days. But
yeah, I mean, you saw
hands of
Malagos
StrifeCro.
Warlock, right, to come out to counter the Secret Pally, but that meant that it was even worse for Handlock, because then double BGH really punishes you, so a bit tricky.
Tomb Pillager here, pretty fun.
Oh man,
card.
is that the hybrid we were talking about earlier? The Tomb Pillager Miracle Oil? You know, the type of hybrid between the two archetypes? It looks like it could be the case.
Well, this is a huge turn for StrifeCro. I mean, that's it, right?
It's going to be pretty hard for Kranich to come. I mean, he's got the sap at the very least, right? So that's worth something. It's just that when I look at...
No. Like, this match, if you want to win, you need to sap a giant that has taunt, right? He's gonna have to sap the Doomguard, but he's gonna sap the Doomguard after it was played for free and kill the minion. You know, that's not the same thing. Okay.
Wow. All right, StrifeCro's playing it greedy here. He's like, all right, let's see what he does. Maybe he can bring out my Doomguard for me. But I think Kranich may just play the slower game. I mean, Kranich here has an opportunity over the next few turns if StrifeCro doesn't get the taunt up, because he still doesn't have any taunts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
5 damage. That's
Well, Kranich can actually clear the board, but it's very strange. He has to play. He has to play the Violet Teacher, backstab the Drake, attack with the 5/4 and the weapon, and then use the coin to sap the Void Caller.
He could use his dagger to attack the Void Caller, get the minion out, and see what it is and answer it. But if it is something like Mal'Ganis, then you know you're in a world of hurt. Ah, there we go. Probably the best of.
That works out pretty well. You don't get all those nice dudes from the Violet Teacher, though.
Right. All right, so let's see what this is kind of what Kranich was hoping not to have to run into. Is I ended up using a lot of my resources to stall a little bit. Yeah. But I still don't have my gadget stand, assuming he runs it. I still don't have my oil. I still don't have my sprint. If I pick up sprint on the top, if I'm Kranich here, I'm happy because I do have the coin to get it out. It's like a pseudo prep.
Well, there's an actual prep, but again, not really what you're looking for. I think you just have to play the Thalnos, maybe even the Violet Teacher as well, just to kind of put more stuff on the board. Because if you're taking 8 damage hits this early, it's going to be very hard to make it to a turn that you actually have enough mana to do a high combo, high tempo, maybe finisher.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the prep, he's got the coins, so he's going to get that combo turn. The thing is, how effective is it going to be, right? Because then it's back to StrifeCro, he gets the initiative, and what can Kranich possibly get off the top? Something like another sap, maybe?
Oh, that is such a good card for StrifeCro.
Wow.
He might choose to play on curve, though. He does.
Because he sets up a really sick lethal next turn, right? If he goes face.
Yep. Well, Kranich knows it's lethal, so he has to try to prevent this.
Wow.
That might be difficult to do, but wow. 2 preps, a coin, and a sprint draw certainly makes some things possible here.
Yeah, the double prep really makes whatever comes out of sprint more likely to save him. Although, it's still a long shot.
There's another Violet Teacher. There's an oil. I believe that oil has to be played.
Wait, coin, oil, attack face, pred, blade flurry. How much is that? That's only 8 plus 7. Oh yeah, you're not remotely on lethal, sadly.
But he has to do a much worse play than that, just not to lose. Actually, much worse. The minion has to die, and blade flurry has to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Blade flurry into the other minion.
Have to make trades.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward, but I mean, StrifeCro does not have lethal that way. The thing is, you gave him a Doomguard, right? So there's at least 5 coming your way, and how do you answer that?
Right.
Like, you absolutely know about that Doomguard.
Yeah, StrifeCro might just play Twilight Drake BGH here. I mean, that's the most damage. You actually have double Hellfire, which is a little bit sneaky. Because if either one lives, you kill your opponent. And your opponent's only playing around 5 damage. And usually as a rogue, when you're behind, you have to play risky. I think Twilight Drake BGH basically secures the game. It's just
the only
you're
way
scared
you
at 17 life. So
he might. You've seen 2 preps, right? Like, there's no way you lose, right? It's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. With 2 preps, he still has the coin. There's 9 mana. Can you do 17 damage with 9 mana? It might be hard to do.
Yeah, I like your play. I mean, Drake BGH is really safe. StrifeCro doesn't feel like he has to play Belcher at all, ever.
Yeah.
Word Caller is irrelevant, so...
I just love how sneaky it is. Because for sure, Kranich will not play around 6 damage. He knows there's a Doomguard, but he can't afford to play around more damage than that. Especially because it has to come from like a Dark Bomb, right?
Yeah, it has to be Dark Bomb, PO, perhaps, if it exists in the deck. Defensive Argus may give him a tiny bit more damage. But he really can't play around it. And you're going to see here the coin Edwin trying to push, and StrifeCro is going to see the Edwin come out. You're like, yeah, doesn't really matter. Just double Hellfire, win the game.
Yep, double Hellfire. Pretty big play here. Well, Kranich, I feel like the coffee sip is like a show of confidence, but he's going to lose all of that here.
Yeah, StrifeCro's gonna go 2-0 over Kranich. That's a really quick start considering the decks that are being played. Like the Priest curved out like a tempo deck and ended up winning super quickly.
Yeah, all these matches are very, very quick here. We can see from the class listing there, StrifeCro only has to win with his Druid. Kranich, in addition to his own Druid, has the Rogue and a Mage deck. We have not seen the Mage deck yet, but I mean, outside of like a Mech Mage, I think Druid kind of struggles a bit. Even I feel that the Tempo Mage.
I guess Freeze is alright, depending on like how the
like
draws line up.
Oh, Freeze? You think so? No, I think Freeze loses quite a lot to almost every Druid.
Right. That's what I mean. Is like for Druid, the Freeze is a good matchup. The rest might be a bit tricky though. But yeah, like Freeze is the only thing you're happy to see if you're facing off against a Mage. But it's gonna be the Rogue again for Kranich, who has the Edwin opener, and that has killed many
prep.
Druid.
And the Deadly Poison.
And a Blade Flurry. Okay, it doesn't really matter that much, but
No, that one doesn't matter too much. But it's a nice card to have if you run up against a lot of early game minions, which is absolutely possible from a Druid deck. I don't know if that was his hand before or after the keep, but I feel if it was the hand before the keep, you just press the keep button.
yeah, that's pretty much it. You just hit nothing, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's one of those moments that like it's pretty rare that your opponent would mulligan only like one card, right? It happens. But to mulligan 0 cards going second is like, oh damn it. Like you know something bad is coming.
And what's funny here is that StrifeCro playing down this 2-3 here is saying to Kranich, well, I wanted to maybe get that Edwin out as fast as possible, but now there's no way I can do that. StrifeCro's forcing a coin definitely if there's no backstab.
I don't like the coin here.
Well, maybe he's going to try to get the Edwin to a 6-6 instead of a 8-8 to avoid the big game hunter.
Okay.
That would be my guess, assuming...
The funny thing is the big game hunter might just come down here. No, he'd probably Wild Growth because he has the 5. Yeah, you Wild Growth here. But, I mean, there are no BGH targets except that Edwin, and most Druids run 2 silences. There's no Druid that runs less than 1, so...
Well, look at that. Prep is paired with a sprint, so suddenly your Edwin play looks everything but appealing. You probably just... Fan of Knives? Like, how often could you justify going all in? You'd have to go for Prep, Fan of Knives, Edwin. That's about it. Oh, wow, he's doing it. Okay. Alright. No BGH, so StrifeCro without a Keeper of the Grove here has no immediate answer to this, which means a 6-6 for Kranich is currently somewhat safe.
It is pretty safe, but yeah, you have the Azure Drake. The Azure Drake survives the weapon. It's not bad.
Yeah.
You draw.
Kranich is gonna probably have to flurry and redagger to kill that Drake.
That seems pretty rough, but I think you might be right. I think you are right. I think that is the play.
Poor Kranich. He's like, I want to get value out of this Edwin, and here I am throwing Blade Flurries to kill 1 dragon. Although it does occupy StrifeCro's turn, which is something that Kranich is probably happy about, is I lose this Edwin to some of the stuff that StrifeCro can do, but if I can dodge Keeper Wrath, then I have a clean board and I play that Drake. So I'm good.
I think we'll probably see Wrath and Shredder come out here.
I like that. You could even Wrath for Cycle since you have the swipe to finish it. Yeah, I like that. But if Sap hits...
pretty valuable against a Vile Teacher, though.
Yeah. It's risky, though, right, to go for that line of play, because if there's a Sap, you lose the game.
Oh, you have to play 1 minion, and if that 1 minion gets sapped, it's the same thing. Actually, I think it's worse if the Azure Drake gets sapped. But you just can't play around sap.
Oh man, this is so rough. Yeah, I mean, StrifeCro here, this is the type of Edwin that gives you nightmares. Just small enough to dodge the BGA, just big enough that it's going to kill you over the course of 4 turns. And there's nothing you can do. There's no minion you can play into it without being severely punished by anything rogues do.
Well, looks like he is going to kill it here. Swipe Wrath. Ouch. That does not feel good.
Yeah, absolutely not. But he does get a turn 7 Shredder BGH for tempo if he wants it, so maybe he's fine with that.
Yeah, Kranich opens up with Azure Drake though, and Azure Drake's probably the scariest card when it's on the side of an Oil Rogue player.
Yeah. Drew the Claw, though, is the type of minion you kind of like to have when the rogue is
I don't
trying to
know.
push you.
I feel like you need more than one minion, and you've already seen Van Cleef, so
You just
I'm
charge
probably.
this?
Oh
I'd charge
god.
this.
Yeah, I guess. But I think I'd be more of a fan of the Shredder BGH play.
So you slow down a bit and you dodge the oil. Like, you hope there's no oil, but you still develop a better board.
Right. I
Sure.
mean, even if there is an oil, you have to run into another Blade Flurry or another fan for your minions to actually die. It just feels like StrifeCro is playing around sap every single turn, and you just
Yeah.
kind of have to pull the trigger and not play around it at some point.
Well, that's a good turn not to play around Sap. That's the best you're going to get with Dr. Boom. It's as bad a Sap target as you're going to give
think so?
rogues. Well, I mean...
I think it might be a good turn to double Shredder.
All right. Well, if he goes for that, really, it's the only thing that's punish him is like Deadly Poison, Attack Face, Flurry, and even that's not enough. A mix of Eviscerates, which don't go to your face, so you're happy, and you're still threatening the combo kill for the rogue, so she might play defensively. Yeah, I wonder how much of the combo kill Kranich has to play around at this point.
Well, you even have the Azure Drake BGH play if you really want, but I think the Shredder's a little bit better. Alright, he does go with the double Shredder. Kranich is really looking for probably a Blade Flurry, I think. Sap isn't too bad, but...
I like it. I mean, you can Deadly with the Sap and kill one of the Shredders, and that basically guarantees that the Druid has to start playing from behind again. I mean, if he couldn't clear that 5-4, he can't clear a Violet Teacher, a bunch of 1-1s, and the 5-4, which may be a little bit damaged at the end of this.
Doomsayer.
Do it! Oh no.
Yeah, this is definitely very tricky here. I'm pretty sure it's just the turn where you have to slam down the boom and hope it sticks. It probably will stick because you just saw Sap and there's not really that many cards left. I mean,
it's obvious that Kranich is scared of
if you're
combo.
ever going to gamble, this is the turn where you do it. I think it's too slow to Emperor here.
Yeah, Emperor BGH just sounds horrible. You could try to Drake for a swipe and win the game on the back of that, but the odds of this working out over Dr. Boom doing, Flame Strike things.
Yeah. Well, how many cards has StrifeCro drawn? He's drawn like maybe I think one extra. Did he play a Drake yet? I'm actually not sure if he's drawn any. Has he?
Yeah, I think he's played one card.
Well, that means he probably has 17 or 16 cards left in his deck. And I think your chance to win this game is higher than like 6%. So I think he's just going to goes for the Dr. Boom.
Now Kranich, again, probably not liking this card very much, as you might imagine.
Well, he's a mid-range player. He probably likes the card just plenty, but not when it's
Not
on the other
against
side of the
him,
board.
right?
Yeah.
So now Kranich, if he was playing around combo, how much can he afford to keep doing exactly that, right? 'Cause that's the question at this point that you have to ask yourself. Can I keep playing around combo? Is that... Because, I mean, I can't clear up everything, and if I do, the boom bots are liable to get me to 14 anyway. Like, is there any point to playing around the combo?
Well, we'll have to see here. I think he still has a prep in his deck, and he still has a ton of very strong spells. The
Backstab's
backstab is a
alright.
nice card. Yeah, it's better than alright because
And you get the coin.
yeah, he gets the coin off the Tomb Pillager, gets another 1/1 from that coin that allows him to play Eviscerate or Sap. Probably
Sap. On the boom bot.
probably Eviscerate though.
Okay, sure. But now
Like,
you're
he
dead.
could afford just to hero
Yeah, I
power.
like that play. It's a good point.
Okay, you can leave that last one on the board if you want.
Alright, it's not 4 damage to face, so if there was a combo in your Kranich, you're happy. This could have gone wrong, but it didn't.
Oh, this is an interesting turn here. I mean,
like
you saw a
Emperor
very aggressive eviscerate, so you kind of have to weigh in your risk. But yeah, it's 17. That's still relatively high. There's probably a lot of math involved on which cards you choose and choose not to play around. But like I'm seeing Emperor and Shredder, and that just seems so strong. I'm
You can
wondering
always
if you
Drake and
have to lure
swipe on the
though.
following turn, right? 'Cause
Right, you can also Ancient of Lore to draw and play the BGH. Like there's just no BGH targets left in the deck, right? So it's not as bad.
Sure. I mean, you might see Doctor Boom come out, but at that point, it's already too late, and you're gonna win immediately, possibly after what you see with the Ancient. So Doctor Boom may not be able to kill you anyway. Well, that's a decent card for Kranich. Gets him a good SI. Although I think we'll see a heal bot this turn. I would be surprised if we did not. You know, heal bot, sap, SI, perfectly. Oh no, he's one off. Never
Yeah,
mind.
he's at 9 mana. He's not quite able to do that. But yeah, the heal bot does seem the safe way to extend the game, which is kind of what you want when you're ahead. Does go for the sap just in case he gets a bit unlucky on the shredder.
How does he trade?
I
to
think
kill
you
this?
don't actually have to kill the Emperor if you want to push for 2-turn lethal, but yeah,
The question is, do you have the 2-turn lethal?
no, you don't.
Yeah, that's a really big issue Kranich has been running into is I don't have Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil. My Blade Flurry was used up early just to kill one Drake. So definitely making decent calls here. StrifeCro could pick up a swipe. Might he heal himself? I doubt it.
Well, there's combo, but it's still a little bit away here. I feel like the shredder is a bit more sticky.
Yeah, you've seen two
You
saps,
just
right?
have to hope that you stay alive.
Yeah, there's no deadly left. You've already
Well,
seen both.
It's 2 damage away, so the chance that there it is, it's over.
GG. Although, wait,
No,
no,
no.
no. Couldn't the oil land on the worst target? Would it
No.
matter? The SI is. Oh, the SI kills. Right. Never mind.
All right, well, Kranich gets a point on the board. Not quite the sweep StrifeCro was hoping to get. Kranich still has a little bit of game left, though. That is only his first point. He's got to come back and grab a win with his own Druid and this Mage that we haven't yet gotten a chance to see.
Yeah, the mirror match druid is going to be interesting in that I feel like nowadays the way people build their decks is quite different. Like you saw Sylvanas in StrifeCro's list. That's not everywhere, right? Like we saw it as well, I think, in Ciphers. And it's not necessarily in every single list. And you have some people that still play something of a more aggressive list. You see a lot of cards being sprinkled in as tech cards, like MC Tech, even in some people's variants, if they expect a lot of Paladin,
Yeah.
if they're afraid of, I don't know.
I feel like MC Tech is a card that follows Ancient of War, and I think most of these decks have been more mid-range than like ramp-oriented combo druids. But they also haven't drawn very deep, so honestly, they could just have anything at this point.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, we know for sure it's probably not anything. Yeah, we didn't see any nourish or indication that there would be. Sylvanas, like the comeback of Sylvanas, I have to wonder what it's due to exactly. Like, what do you think spurred people into putting her back in Druid?
I mean, I think it's a thing I mentioned earlier where Druid's a class that you want to curve out as often as possible, and there's just very few good 6-drops. And Sylvanas is pretty good. It's not exactly taunt, but it often functions as that. It's a good enough body. It can have some very punishing plays. Overall, it's just a very strong card. Actually, in terms of deck statistics, I remember looking up like which legendaries show up the most frequently in decks. I haven't seen it post League of Explorers, but before League of Explorers, Sylvanas, I believe, was the second most used legendary after Dr. Boom. Now, it was by a considerable margin, but still, it shows that this card just, tends to just keep working.
It's funny that she got phased out for so long, right? I mean, I guess it has to do with Emperor Thorson giving you that weird turn 6 where you have nothing. Like, it's ramp that you put in your deck anyway. The question is, what do you cut to add that extra Sylvanas, right? Like, where do you take that extra six slot?
Well,
Like,
outside of Emperor and Sylvanas, I don't even think there is a 6-drop card in Druid.
that you'd play ever. Yeah, there's nothing that you'd like to play here, I think.
Yeah.
All right, there's the Wild Growth in StrifeCro's hand. It's not in Kranich's, and also StrifeCro's on the coin, so he's getting the advantage. So long as Kranich doesn't pick up an Innervate off the top, I think StrifeCro's well on his way to just snowball out of control. Like, it just happens it's so fast.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, mostly because he has like a very strong hand. He has the Wild Growth into the Shade, which is very powerful. He has the BGH. I mean, Dr. Boom is a card that is kind of difficult to deal with in general, but when it comes to Druids dealing with it, it's even harder.
So Kranich's face here just says everything. I don't know if you caught it, but he closed his eyes in dismay, realizing, well, that's it. I'm done for. If I don't pick up my ramp next turn, then that's it. There's no way I'm coming back.
Yeah, the main issue here is that it's just kind of like a dead turn. It could have been worse. I feel like if you Wild Growth and you have a good follow-up while going first, it's considerably better than doing it going second. But this is the best case for going second, so it is pretty grim.
Yeah, the question I have to ask here is, do you think we'll see a BGH on tempo for StrifeCro if he doesn't pick up a 4-drop? Because I think very often the value of this 4-2 may be just counterpointed by the possibility of a keeper. So throwing the BGH out as keeper fodder may just not be worth the potential gain from damage, I guess.
Yeah, there's a few plays here, but it looks like StrifeCro's going for value. Actually, when I played with StrifeCro, in the very, very few early tournaments in Hearthstone, like more than 2 years ago, he was the first player that kind of advocated this line of play where you just have to play something all the time. He said that back then people were playing like Watcher Druid with Defender of Argus.
Yes.
He basically said that if on turn 4 if all you have is Defender of Argus, then you play it.
All right, so StrifeCro is basically the ultimate curver at this point. I mean, I think this might have been motivated, though, by the fact that he does have Jewel of the Claw and Swipe. So if that keeper comes out, he can decide to develop a 4-6 with Taunt or play a Swipe. And once you see the first keeper, then that means your Shade is likely not going to get silenced if you decide to unstealth it at some point. So that's probably the reasoning.
Well, StrifeCro goes for the damage push there. That does make it so Kranich can clean up at least one of these minions with the Savage Roar, but that is pretty sad.
Oh my god. Savage Roar. It is.
Yeah. I think it might just be a Loatheb turn. Loatheb, you kind of want to use that card so you don't die to a combo. Or in Desperation, which makes it perfect right now.
So he does go for the swipe. That basically, like, what that indicates is that he's really worried about burst because he doesn't have a way to stabilize with taunts, for instance. So he's giving away that he's desperate at this stage. But I think StrifeCro doesn't necessarily have all the tools to capitalize on it. But I have zero doubt that he's just going to go and smork it at this stage. Because with combo already in hand, you have to just try to push for damage. That's it.
Yep, he can push for 7 this turn. But it's, again, the show of desperation from Kranich tells you that you're probably going to get another pretty big minion swing in on the following turn.
Wow, okay, wait. That changes a lot of things, right?
I see.
It has to, because on the following turn on 7, you can swipe Savage Roar to clean everything up.
Oh, yeah.
Clean everything up? Yes, that's right. You heard it here first. You're going to get cleaned up. Well,
even StrifeCro smiled this early in the morning. Just shows you how ridiculous this try is.
I mean, what can you say, right? It's the Innervate. All right, what does that change? You can play Shredder alongside that swipe, is what it changes. You can go... I mean, this is a disaster. Unmitigated disasters.
I think you have to Savage or swipe.
I mean, you have to check where the boombots go, right? That's the first step. He's good. He's good. He's going to be able to clear out the entire board and keep himself at exactly 14, which means he's dead to combo if there's an innervate, but StrifeCro does not have it yet. If Kranich wants to, wants to stay super safe, he'd innervate out the...
I think I'd swipe face here. I think I'd do a Shade swipe face.
Sure. Sounds pretty consistent with the overall game plan he's been putting together. But what this does is that if Kranich goes for Ancient of Lore heal, you're still winning with combo.
You're still winning with
right?
combo.
Because
Right,
you're putting a 5/5. So
I think if you did Shade swipe face, there is no card that keeps
that
Kranich
saves
alive.
it. Yeah. Even Druid of the Claw, even double Druid of the Claw is like the closest thing you're gonna
Double
get.
Druid of the Claw, perhaps.
With Innervate, yeah.
Yeah.
But even then,
yeah, one Druid of the Claw wouldn't save you, but two would.
That belongs in
Harrison Jones, yeah. I mean, Kranich belongs in a museum at this point.
Well,
Well,
he might go visit
StrifeCro.
one. He is gonna gain some free time now that he's been knocked out by StrifeCro.
Oh no, that's evil, Crip.
All right. Well, just the going through the motions here for StrifeCro. Definitely very happy. Waking up to a win here. Definitely feels very, very good.
Yeah, and he's going to be going up against Trump later on. So we'll have StrifeCro versus Trump as the second match of the next round. So Thais and Trump were already securing their slot in the next bracket. Cypher is going to be playing up against Thais, and we'll have StrifeCro versus Trump a bit later. And then whoever wins that match, both of these winners are going to be facing off against each other to figure out who gets through to the LAN finals in Minsk a bit later next year, in January. Can't believe I'm saying 2016 already. I feel like we're just done with 2015.
Yeah, it's not even been a year. Like, oh my god, and it's already over. Ridiculous.
I know. I can't even.
All right, let's hear some predictions. What do you think here? Cypher versus Thais and StrifeCro versus Trump. What's your take on this, Noxious?
I'm gonna say StrifeCro wins just because his decks seem pretty well rounded. Like I don't know if Trump is bringing any type of shenanigans to counter the handlock that StrifeCro is bringing. I know that Trump really likes the new Shaman list that have been running around. We saw him play that in the Insomnia, so that would be a decent match to pick up. If he plays Mali Warlock as well, Malagoth's Warlock, very good against the possible handlock from StrifeCro. So unless Trump brings that lineup, I think StrifeCro takes it overall. And Cypher against Thais, I feel like just because of the consistency of play from Thais, I'd give him a really big edge.
Okay, well, yeah, some pretty interesting matches yet to come. For now, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we return, I believe we will open up with the Thais versus Cypher match.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to root against Thais, but Cypher did go through 6-0 very quickly, in fact, and he might continue on his role. I think Cypher is the player who did the best in the previous StarLadder tournament. I think you mentioned that.
Well, he got pretty lucky. He didn't do the best. No, I think Thais ended up in finals against Stan, but Cypher made it with barely made it into the LAN finals. Eventually got knocked out, but that's why he's here. In this event as well. He's hoping that he can attend the LAN finals again, maybe redeem himself from the last one. But I mean, he's starting from very far away. But so he did last time as well. It was a last chance qualifier all the way through. So pretty rough one.
All right. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the tournament so far. Tune in. We will be back pretty shortly, moving into match number 3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.